What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Trailer Park Live right here on the 2nd Street Marvel. We're coming at you live every single Friday night, and usually about 8 p.m. But yeah, I was a little bit late today. I've got family stuff. I've got a family. What do you want me to do? We're getting ready to go to Renaissance Fair this weekend, so I had to make. Well, I've still got to make a costume for my son, or just work on his costume more so than anything. So I've been kind of doing that, and earlier, I don't know, I had, you know what? I'm not sure if it's like, you know, I don't know. I was having a personal issue, a personal issue. So thank you all so much for being here today, man. It's Friday. Can you believe it's already Friday? Yeah, it's Cinco de Mayo, and it's Revenge of the 5th, right? Revenge of the 5th. And you know, it's funny when it comes down to this stuff. I see, like, every year it's something, you know, like every year, like one of you fucking nerds has to out nerd the other one, right? Everybody, you know, have to out nerd the other one. Like this year, the thing is like, oh, well, I know that, you know, May the 4th is, you know, it's like May the 4th. It's like a you know, a thing, like a Star Wars thing, but, you know, it's actually May 25th. Shut the fuck up. God damn, man. Can't you just be, can we not just, you know, like, do we gotta, is it gotta, you know, like, is somebody really trying to out nerd somebody else here? Like, oh, I'm sorry, it's May 25th. It's not actually May the 4th be with you. It's not, no, like, shut up. Just shut up. It's fucking, shut your mouth. Just take it. It'll be all right. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. It's May the 4th be with you. It's Revenge of the 5th. Cinco de Mayo. God damn. I'm the gatekeeper of fandom, not you. Right? Get it through your thick skull. Yeah, I get tired of you sons of bitches. Let me guess too. Let me guess too. Music is your life too, right, pal? But thank you all so much for being here tonight. It's going to be a relatively short stream. I really only wanted to come on tonight since I, you know, got started a little bit late, and I just kind of wanted to sit here and talk about and review, I guess kind of give a review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'll get into that in just a few minutes. But another thing was, I'm not sure if you guys follow Coffin Comics. You know, I've flapped my gums about them. Here a lot on the channel. I actually just did a giveaway for some of their books just the other day. Actually, on Wednesday, we did a giveaway, giving away these copies right here, which is Lady Death Volume 1. This is Lady Death Rules Volume 1. This is the first, I think, three or four issues of Lady Death in the Coffin Comics universe, all collected in one edition. And also, we got Volume 2 here as well that we gave away. BigStevieW won this one right here, and this one right here was won by Felicity Poobell. So, once again, congratulations to those winners. Felicity, I still got to reach out to you. If you're watching this, I still got to reach out to you and get your address so I can get these sent off to you. And I got a hold of Stevie earlier today so I can get his sent out to him. But if you do like what you're seeing in this live stream and any of the videos or anything like that, hearing me flap my gums, and you'd like to support the channel with your hard-earned dollars, all you got to do is become one of the channel members, one of the Myrtle Maniacs, for as little as $3.99 a month. You can help crowdfund comics, because that's what I do with a lot of the money that I get from the channel memberships. Is I go out there and I pick different crowdfunded books to go out there and support. I get them in, read them, and talk about them, and flap my gums about these different publishers here on the channel in live streams and stuff like that. And the next one I'm going to be giving away is this right here. This is Lady Death. This is Diabolical Harvest. This is chapter 16 of Lady Death in the Coffin Comics universe. This, I want to say it's a good book, but I haven't read it yet myself. Because in case you haven't been paying attention, I'm still reading through the Lady Death Omnibus right there. But these books, if you're into that sort of thing, you know, it's got a very good story, and the art inside these books is absolutely great. The quality of these books is second to none, and I proudly support these books, and I proudly give them away as well. Now, one of the things I was talking about the other day was they're actually getting ready to they're going to be launching another Kickstarter here soon for La Muerta. What is the new La Muerta one going to be called? I can't remember. I want to say I'm thinking Diabolical because that was on that one, but it's not Diabolical. It's getting ready to come out here in, I believe, next week, maybe the week after. They're getting ready to launch the campaign for that, and La Muerta has a different artist that does that series, but again, another great series. Different than like Diego Bernard, who is currently the artist in the Lady Death run, but very, very good stuff. I believe on La Muerta, they've got, oh man, why all of a sudden am I forgetting his name? Because he's great. Not Diego Bernard, man, I feel bad for forgetting his name, but some very good art that they do in that book as well. Now, the other thing that I've been talking about as well is just different crowdfunded books out there that you should go check out for just different creators. Like Myrtle Publishing is doing one right now for Miss Meow issue number 6. One I have backed. I know I'm getting ready to get some comic books in the mail here very soon as well, so I can't wait to get those in and check those out. But that's what I do with like I said, with the channel, with the money I get from the channel memberships, as I go out there and I do pick different crowdfunded projects to go out there and support some very good stuff. I've been lucky that so far I've got all the rewards and all the books from all the people that I have backed. I have definitely heard, and that's kind of why I do this, is because I've heard stories from other people out there who have went to back crowdfunded books and never got them in. Whether that's if they got funded, the creator never delivered, or whatnot. Now, I will tell you that when it comes to that, that's one of the things that deters a lot of people from supporting some of the crowdfunded books as well, is because they've probably heard some of these stories of creators not making good on their deals. And if you get on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, the rewards aren't guaranteed. Like Kickstarter, like you're not guaranteed to get the books in that you back. They Kickstarter can't get a hold of the person and be like, hey, you owe these people a comic book, or whatever else it is you back. It's not what it is. So it's not a guaranteed thing. And then same with like Indiegogo. These things aren't guaranteed. Now, however, as I said, some people have had some horror stories. I haven't experienced that yet. I think the worst I've experienced is some creators who take a long time to get their books out. Some take longer than others. Some have a much smaller operation. Some decide to, I don't know, I guess print their books in China, and it takes forever. And I don't know, maybe they have a million other reasons why they're just being slow in delivering their books. Some people, get their books in and decide to, just fuck around and take their time fulfilling their projects. Like one creator that seems to be pissed off at me and just I don't know, seems to be pretty upset because I asked him like, hey, where's the books at? On their campaign page. I'm like, hey, it's been almost 90 days. Are we, is there any updates? And I gave it some time. Gave it about a week or two and didn't get a response. So, put him on blast on Twitter. And oh man, they answered real quick then. They answered real quick then and got very upset at me for asking them. I mean, if you were, maybe not fucking around on Twitter and not just procrastinating, maybe you could have got those books out a little bit faster. But I don't know. That's just if you ask me. There are some creators out there who are excited about their books, their projects, and they cannot wait to get them in the hands of their backers. And for the most part, that's most of the creators that I have backed here. The people at Coffin Comics are absolutely great. Myrtle Publishing, really good as well. Pocket Watch Press, another creator that's been a new creator, I would say, that's been very good as well. And just several other different ones. Like I was even talking about this one right here. Sigma Comics, Here Comes Calico. These guys, very good at what they are doing as well. So, there's, like I said, though, I do understand some of the people who are skeptical of some of the different projects out there to go back. So if you stick here to the channel, man, I talk about them, and believe me, I'm not shy about saying if there's creators out there that you shouldn't back who aren't making good on delivering their products. And like I said, I haven't been burned yet. Just, had some people who, maybe slow going, maybe procrastinating a little. It's all good. But I think that's one of the major things when it comes to crowdfunding comics, right? Especially if you're the creator, is keeping just contact with your backers, right? Updates, constant updates. I know, what's his name? Your boy Zach, Splatto Comics. Like that dude sends out so many. If you go back one of his books, he sends out so many updates. Like, it's almost annoying, but I appreciate it. I would never say, you know what, can you send less updates? I appreciate those updates. The folks at Coffin Comics, I want to say they probably do at least once a week on all of their projects as well. They keep in constant contact. Where I've backed others, like there's one of the people I backed, and it's Kyle Higgins. And he works in the mainstream comic book industry. Now, you know what? And I'll give you that piece of advice right there. If there's somebody that works in the mainstream comic publishing industry, like works for, like does books on like Image or Boom or, just any of those other small publishers that you can pick up books at your local comic book shop, you know what? Most of them don't go back their books. Yeah, I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it because they literally treat it like it's a previews magazine, right? Like it's the previews world, and they just hey, we got this book we're doing, we're funding it. Oh, okay, it's funded. Thank you so much. And then you don't hear shit from them. Because Kyle Higgins, I went and I backed one of his books, and mostly because Lance Briggs was actually the co-writer. He was working along with Kyle Higgins on it. I was like, hey, cool. And I love Lance Briggs. I used to be a big Chicago Bears fan, right? And I was like, oh, Kyle Higgins, I read some of his shit before. It was, at that point, it was only a couple of his books, and I'm like, hey, let's do it. Let's do it. So I went ahead and backed it, and then they just kept not, giving, updates. No updates. And I kept asking for updates, hey, on Kickstarter you can do the anonymous ones, but then I'd even put in the little comments section on the campaign, hey, is there any updates, anything? And I'm telling you, they were updating, it wasn't even every 90 days. It was pretty bad. But then once I'm asking them, I'm like, hey, can we get any sort they started being assholes about it. Is it so hard that you got people who gave you their hard-earned dollars? What's so hard about saying, hey guys, it hasn't really been much going on this week, this month. Not a whole lot of progress, but something. But you get some of these creators out there, like I said, they were you see reading the communications, you can somewhat read tone in an update, in an email, or even in a tweet or Facebook post. You can somewhat feel some of the tone there, right? And I'm telling you, they started doing updates. And I was like every single one of them read well, here's another update, guys. I'm sorry that you have to communicate with the people that gave you their fucking money. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask? Apparently it is for Kyle Higgins. And so, regardless, chances are if there's somebody out there that's doing a lot of work in the mainstream comic book industry, don't back them. Don't back them. Tell them to put that shit in previews world, get a publisher, whatever they got to do. Fuck them. Okay? We're going there. Fuck them. And if there's somebody else who is just terrible about fulfilling their campaigns, just slow as shit, fuck them. You know what? Go with somebody else. Now, some creators, they do, some of them do work, more alone, and they do take a little bit longer. But most of those creators are good at keeping contact with their customers, and they let you know what their fulfillment window is. What I'm talking about is people who deliver a year late, 2 years late. Berserker, Boom Studios, still looking at you, still waiting on those fucking books. Yet you still keep launching projects every other goddamn month. Since they launched Berserker well over 2 years ago, they've at this point they've launched fucking 9 campaigns and they've fulfilled one of them. Completely fulfilled. Everything else still out there in limbo. Like, and the thing about that, like for me, like it really kind of shows the state of the comic book industry. I love comic books, and I like a lot of the different books on different publishers out there. But when I see what Boom Studios is doing, and I believe me, I read plenty of their books. I think like Jesus Christ, man, like you guys either don't believe in these projects or you're really just using these crowd funds to subsidize the books that you're putting out. Because a lot of their crowdfunded, what they are doing is they put out the collected editions of them in hardcover, so they're nice for you. I think they've done a couple in trade paperback, but the thing is like when I get into it, I'm like, do you just not have the money to print this because you just need people to give you their money first? So you got those people that you have to fulfill their books later, after all the books have come out, and in the meantime, you can use that money that you got from them to make sure that you have money to pay your artists and print your books out, the single ones that you put out into the LCSs. I don't know. If you ask me and you take a look at the comic book publishing landscape right now, I would say that's probably exactly what they're doing. Which is funny because there was a discussion the other day. I was watching, in case you guys don't know, Eric July, Young Rip of 5'9". I was watching a stream the other day, and he had one of his streams where he's doing monetize your haters, and there's this irrational fucking dude on there, man, like some of the people, some of that dude's fucking haters, like I don't know, they're just like a fucking laugh riot. But this guy's on there talking about all these different things, but they're talking about trade paperbacks. They were talking about the price of Isom, which was the first book put out on the Rippaverse, and it's $35, 96 page book. And the thing is, he's talking about like $35 is too much, and I really don't think it is. I think that's a pretty good price for a lot of books out there. Hell, I've paid. Look, I can show you right here. I fucking paid. Like, where's it at? Right here. Like this right here. This cover right here for Miss Meow. Issue number 5, like this right here, I want to say this was like fucking, like, I want to say it was like $25, like $25, 25 bucks. And I've got other covers of it here that cost more than that for a single issue, 20, 25, 30. They've got ones that are 40 for a single issue of a crowdfunded comic. And I'm not mad about it, but we're talking about a book that's, well, here, let's grab a copy of it. Where's it at? Right here. Like 35 bucks for this book right here. And we've got this irrational guy that's getting on this thing and arguing about being able to go out and buy a trade paperback for 10 bucks. And I'm not really sure what books he's buying that, like, unless we're talking about AWA Upshot, who's puts out trade paperbacks. I think some of theirs have been $10, but largely most of your trade paperbacks that you're going to find out there are $14.99, $15.99 for your average trade paperback that has a collection of 4 or 5 issues in it. Now, when you get into the crowdfunding scene, that price generally goes up. And I would say that the other books that I've backed that are in a trade paperback format, like Isom is, a lot of them are 25. No, I don't even know if any of them have been 25, because I think even like the Splatto Comics ones are like $30 each. So they're about, for a comparable sized book, like a trade paperback that has essentially is equivalent of 4 or 5 issues in it. Most of them about 5, right? And the thing is, like, you're not finding those books out there for $10. Now, the other thing is it's not really comparable either to say that even one of these trade paperbacks that you find from Image Comics or Marvel Comics or DC Comics or even fucking Boom Studios or Vault Comics or like any of those publishers out there, it's very fucking hard to compare a $15.99 trade paperback to a crowdfunded comic that's basically a trade paperback for $35. And the reason is because when you look at it, what they did with those books initially, like say we're talking about fucking one of my favorite ones. Okay, Resonant. Resonant on Vault Comics, a fucking great book by writer D.B. Andry. Okay, and it's a great book, one of my favorites. I think the trade paperbacks are like $15.99. Okay, now here's the thing: is they've already made the money off selling the single issues of that book. All of the books they had, like each one of those like has 5 issues. They sold 5 separate fucking issues of that book, and then they collected it later in a trade paperback. So it's not even really a fair comparison to say something that you're getting from a crowdfunded book at $35 is even comparable to a book that's $15.99 at your local comic book shop, because those publishers have already made fucking money on that series, and then they're selling it again. And chances are, most of the people that are buying those trade paperbacks, a lot of people, if they're like me, these dickheads have went out there and bought the single fucking issues and then went and bought the trade paperback, right? So essentially those trades are kind of subsidized too, because they've already made the money. Now, of course, that's not everybody. Some people do trade weight. You know, like Chris from Chaos and Comics. I know he likes to do a lot of that nowadays, just trade weights for the books. You know, sometimes he'll buy the first issue and see if it's good, if he wants to read. Like me, I'm one of those sons of bitches like, man, I gotta have at least 2 issues, and by the time I have 2 issues, fuck, I might as well buy the next 3, you know? But that's the thing, is these books are somewhat already subsidized by selling those single issues before they go and they sell the trade paperback versions that you can find at your local comic book shop. So they've already made that money from the single issues, and then they can make even more money selling the trade paperback. Where you get into the crowdfunded books, it's not the same. The comparison, it's not even really the same at all. I mean, it's not even apples and oranges. We're talking fucking fruit and vegetables here, right? That's the difference. But I don't know. That's just if you ask me. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll get in here into the live chat, say what's up to everybody, and then we'll talk a little bit about some Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And it's going to be spoilers. Maybe. Yeah, for the most part, there will be spoilers. We'll get into some spoilers. But let's get here into the live chats and see what everybody is talking about. Okay. We've got my man Daniel Fisher in the building. Says, had to shift my Guardians of the Galaxy screening to Saturday. Much love. All right. Well, okay. So I'll take it that you're not here right now, Daniel Fisher. But thank you so much for the support. And hey, I think you're going to enjoy it, man. I think you're going to enjoy it. Let's see. We've got RC Scott in the building. We've also got Superior Hero Collectibles. Says, let's go, Brandon. I mean, dang it, screw Trump. Yeah, one or the other. You know, pick a side. But you know what? Don't even pick a side. You don't even have to pick a side. You don't even have to pick. Like me, you ain't gonna see me pick a side. You know, people out there getting all worked up about Biden, about Trump, and me, I'm like, fuck both these clowns, right? I ain't playing none of that stupid bullshit. We got Random Brad Creator in the house as well. Oh! Thank you so much for being here, my man. We've also got shouldn't be drinking. Shouldn't you be drinking? I am. I'm drinking water. We're talking about anything else? I don't really drink. I don't really drink much. Maybe about once a year you'll see me drink. Like, oh, probably Sunday I'm gonna be drinking. Probably Sunday, maybe at the Renaissance Fair. Maybe when we go to the Ren Fair I'll have a beer. But I don't really drink that much. I drink plenty of fucking water though. That's for sure. I drink this whole thing in a day. It's a gallon. I drink this whole thing in a day. And more sometimes. And more. Okay, we got Tim's Talk in the building as well. Says, I heard Second Street was Closet Raylo, according to my sources from Disney, which confirmed to me through Reddit. Yeah, I don't know. Am I a Raylo? Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird, right? it's a little weird. I mean, because if I was a Reylo fan, I think that would put me right up there with a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, right? Because it's all the Stockholm Syndrome thing, like she, was in love with her captor, and like it was just kind of weird, right? Where the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're the same way. They're the same way. Like they end up in this whole like love affair thing with their captors. It's really kind of weird. It's really kind of weird if you ask me. Yeah. But that's a different story for a different time. But thank you so much for being here, Tim's Talk. I hope you are doing well. We've also got Random Brad, creator, saying, hey, Trinity, what is up? Throwing them horns, what is up? How are you doing? William Moloch, thank you so much for being here tonight. Because we're going to make it right tonight. Oh, that was terrible. I know. I'm no fucking Phil Collins. Trust me. I'm more of like a Philip Anselmo, maybe Freddie Crinchin. Yeah, maybe one of those. I'm more of one of those. Yeah, like aggressive, hardcore. That's more me. Yeah, but I'll try. I can occasionally hit some melodies. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I am going to go ahead and get into talking about some Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So if you don't want any spoilers or anything like that, you're probably going to want to tune out for, I don't know, probably however long it takes me to rant about this movie. And there's no real rant. But you're probably going to get out of here for a few minutes and come back shortly. And you'll know because like the little, you can turn down the volume and the little screen is going to change on you right here, okay? So, okay, where are we at here? So, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 just came out and I got a chance to go see it with my kids on Thursday night. And we got to the theater. We went and seen it in the IMAX. I'm one of those nerds who has to get there and get my tickets on time and everything. Like the day that they go on sale, I have to get my tickets to make sure that I get my right seats. And I usually go and I get tickets for me, my kids, a couple of my friends, their kids if they're taking their kids as well. So I usually end up buying a handful of tickets at the same time. And so I do this with a lot of the Marvel movies. It's kind of been a tradition with me and one of my friends that goes with us, and one of my other friends recently, I guess it's not even recently, has been joining us as well. So we got our tickets. We went to this Thursday evening showing of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I know plenty of people went and seen it before that. There's other screenings for people who are bigger nerds than I am. But we went there, saw it in the IMAX. They gave us these little passes. They look like little backstage passes, and we got a little poster, and that was pretty cool as well. But we went there, and in case you guys don't know, I'm not like a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. I think the movies are okay, and this is one that I can't say that I was necessarily looking forward to. I wasn't hyped about it, but I was ready to see this movie. It is James Gunn's last installment of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And while I'm not a big James Gunn fan or anything like that, I was actually had a certain expectation that I was looking for when this movie came out. And because I don't think he's like a terrible director or anything, I'm just not really into, his style and everything. But I did kind of figure that this movie right here, there's no way that this movie is going to be as, I hate to say as bad, but just not in the same league with the past few movies that we have got out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As a matter of fact, going into this movie, I kind of thought, like, can it really get any worse than most of what we got in Phase 4 and Phase 5 so far? I mean, going back into things, I think this is probably the best movie that Marvel Studios has put out since the Eternals. And yeah, you don't need to clean your ears out, right? I did say, you heard me right, I said the Eternals. I am one of those rare people out there who actually likes the Eternals movie. But I was like, there's no way that this movie isn't going to be better than a lot of the movies we got lately. I mean, getting into Thor: Love and Thunder, I thought that movie was it was terrible. Wakanda Forever, that movie was absolute garbage. I tried to watch it several times. I made it through all the way through, but the movie just really had no heart. It had no feeling. There was nothing in it to draw me in. My kids, they won't even watch it. They're like, why would we watch it? It ain't got Black Panther. So going into this one, especially even after Quantumania, a movie which I thought was decent, I enjoyed it. It just didn't have that punch, that feel that I kind of come to know and expect from a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, something that Marvel Studios is putting out. So I figured this movie right here has to be at least a step in the right direction, and I was right. The movie was actually pretty good. James Gunn did a pretty good job with this movie. Obviously, he's been together with all of the same actors throughout these 3 movies, and even kind of even did the little special that they did on Disney Plus, and even if I'm not mistaken, he actually directed the scenes. Is that true? He directed the scenes that they did with the Guardians in the Avengers, in Infinity War and Endgame. So he's had quite an experience. This has been a crew that's been together for a handful of years now, and I gotta say, I wasn't disappointed in this film in the slightest bit. I do feel that the movie was a really good conclusion to this story arc of the Marvel Cinematic, of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's to say that I think everything about this film, like there's a lot of things in this film that I didn't like, but this film kind of had that expectation to it, and I figured that it would be kind of exactly what it is with all these same actors together. You pretty much got James Gunn there, and I think he wrote it as well. But I thought the movie was very good and just a nice wrap up going into the future of what is going to happen with any of these characters. Now, there are certain things in the film that I didn't like, and a lot of that really is really just kind of throughout the course of the whole movie. We all know that when it comes down to these movies, James Gunn, when it comes to the soundtrack of these movies, it's something he very much thinks out. I know a lot of people will maybe compare it and think of it like how Quentin Tarantino injects a lot of music into his actual movies. But in this particular instance, it actually got kind of annoying because one of the things is the music that he chose for the soundtrack was really overbearing throughout the movie. And when I say overbearing, it was kind of that way anyway. He really put a lot of that stuff in his movies in the first place. But here, it was to the point where I was getting tired of it. The movie starts off, I want to say, at least the first half of the movie, it seems like we're jumping from scene to scene with a new song blasting over the speakers, about every 5 minutes. And there's no problem with the music. It's the fact that it's blaring throughout the whole time that it is being played. You go and you watch some of his other movies, and you go and even watch, like I said, compare it to the Quentin Tarantino movies, who does that same sort of thing. The music will start, and then it'll kind of tone down and fade into just background music that's going on in the actual movie. Where here, it's scene change, blast the music, and it just kept going on. And throughout the first part of the movie, it felt like there was 3, 4, 5 scenes that were just one after the other, just a different song, and it's okay, it's getting a little bit much. It's getting a little bit overbearing here. And plus, you can turn the volume down on these things. You don't have to blast the shit out of the songs for me to get it. It would be nice to hear some of the other things that are going on. It shouldn't drown out the rest of your movie. Now, the other thing is, for me, going throughout this movie, there were just spots in this movie where we're getting, this movie is largely about Rocket's history, something that we haven't really got a whole lot of throughout these Guardians movies. And we're getting all these snippets of how he exactly came to be with the High Evolutionary, who is the villain in this movie, the main villain. And they're just doing these little flashbacks. Like you're gonna get a scene, then you're gonna get a little flashback, then another scene, and then a little flashback, and it just kind of kept doing this. And I noticed there was a couple of times in the movie where they were doing this, and they also did other scenes where start to get a little, I wouldn't even say like for me, but you could tell they're emotionally heavy films, and then they undercut it with cutting to another scene and doing something completely changing the tone of what exactly is going on. And I really feel like it did a disservice to this movie and even the flow of it. It made it seem like a much longer movie. And I think that was something that this movie didn't need, because it seemed like there was just a lot going on in this movie, and the movie was pretty long. And I'm not going to complain about long movies or anything like that, because believe me, I've watched longer movies than this. But at some point you do some of these things and it will make a movie that is the length that it is seem even longer than it is. Now, I will say that I think a lot of the visual effects and a lot of things that they did in this movie actually looked pretty good. Now, I will also say, in case you guys haven't heard me here on the channel, I'm constantly bitching about the volume and how terrible it looks, this movie, when people use the volume to do their shooting. And I didn't really notice a whole lot of that in this movie, though I can almost guarantee they probably shot a lot of it there. Now, the other thing is with that, and it's something else that kind of got on my nerves too, along with that, is the fact that there's a lot of smaller sets in this movie as well. When you get into, you can see that the Guardians are basically have their home base on nowhere. And they get into that, and it's just really a lot of small sets. There's a couple of scenes throughout the movie where they're kind of doing, like the panning across, following somebody, where you can you're basically getting a look at everything around you through just basically a steady shot, as you're following whatever character, just following whatever is going on. And so, I think that can be cool, but I also feel like it's something that I don't know, it can be utilized a little much and carry on a little bit too long. But other than that, I mean, the visual effects I thought were pretty good. The music was a little bit loud at points. They did, like I said, undercut some of these emotional moments. The humor in this movie was absolutely terrible. I can't remember that there was really any point in this movie where I actually found myself laughing, even though there was jokes in it. I think the kind of maybe the sense of humor that James Gunn has is just absolutely terrible and not for me. And I think there was enough of that in this film. There was, like I said, some things that kind of hey, maybe a little giggle, but nothing like that I would say there's anything in this movie that's funny, when there's obviously meant to be some comedy in this. And there's a lot of things that I could attribute that to, but that's probably a different story for a different time, and probably something largely that a lot of people have heard me bitch about here on the channel. But altogether, the movie itself I thought was pretty good. Definitely a step in the right direction, though I don't feel like this movie is one that, while it does a lot of things right, it does something that I want out of these movies, which is, and something I've griped about plenty here, is this movie actually serves it and the characters in it itself. It's not one of those movies that you get a whole lot of connections to everything else going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I am perfectly fine with that. If you go through the first 3 phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is one of the things that they really did throughout those first 3 phases, is they made a movie that concentrated on the story, on the movie, and things going on in the film itself and the characters within the film. Where you get into a lot of these phase 4 and phase 5 movies, it seems like they are all just kind of serving the MCU, the broader scope of the MCU and what's going on in the universe, as compared to the characters in the movie and what's going on. And I think that's definitely something that this movie has going for it, albeit the fact that it doesn't really seem to have a whole lot of connections to what else is going on out there in the universe, with the exception of a mid and post credit scene. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. And as a matter of fact, I wish more of the movies that they are doing would do that. Serve the story, the characters, the movie itself, not the whole MCU. You've got the TV shows for that. You've got loose little connections that you can make. There's no need to bog a movie down with trying to, say like, oh, here's what's getting ready to come up in the next movie and the next movie and, fucking 5 movies down the line. You don't need to do it. So I think this movie was good for that. Now, some of my other real complaints, I don't think any of the ones I've had here are really that terrible. But to me, the other thing was like the movie starts off, and you know what? Like, what did Karen Gillan actually ask? Did she want the Scarlett Johansson thing? She didn't want to be objectified. That's what I want to know, because like you see the movie, and like throughout the whole movie they have her in like this shirt thing that like it looks like they put a fucking gunny sack on her. I mean, she don't look sexy. Because I'll say that like Karen Gillan isn't she isn't the curviest of women, but she's definitely sexy and she has curves, but she's not voluptuous. But when I was watching this, I'm like, did they just put her face on a dude's body? Because it was very off-putting. I'm watching, I'm like, what is this? Did James Gunn's brother shoot those parts too, and they just superimposed her face on there? To me it was mind-boggling, because I'm like, why did they make her why didn't they give her because like Nebula in the other movies, while she wasn't like over the top sexy, she had curves. You could tell she was a female and she looked good, right? But in this, she just, like I said, she looked like she had my body. She looked like she was like, And the other thing is, like, what they did, I understand that, Karen Gillan isn't shaving her head for the movies anymore or anything like that. She's not going that far, which, hey, I'm not saying she has to. I'd appreciate if she did, because even the prosthetics, like, they got on her head and everything, the makeup and stuff, it looked terrible. It looked absolutely terrible. Her whole look was garbage. Groot, I wasn't very satisfied with Groot either. But I was seeing Nebula, even throughout the movie, I'm like, at some point it's got to change. They gave her the Guardians outfit that they all end up wearing later, and she looked like, give it a little bit more. It didn't look like she was a fucking, it didn't look like she was fucking some out of shape 40-year-old man at that point. Quite. But I was sitting there like, it has to be something maybe she asked for, because like you look at the other characters, Mantis looked just fine. She still looked sexy. You look at Gamora. She still had form-fitting clothing for the most part. You could see she has curves, and believe me, Zoe Saldana is probably even less voluptuous than Karen Gillan is. But even she had an outfit that she was wearing throughout the movie that I'm like, man, she still looks good. She still looks sexy, and I love Zoe Saldana too, man. She's hot. But the thing is, like, you could still see that she was a woman. She had curves. She had hips. Like, she has boobs, right? And just with Nebula, it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And yeah, I think that was probably like one of my biggest complaints with just some of the creative choices that they did, aside from some of the other outrageous things, like when they little space, and it was all minor, so like the little spacesuits they had when they had to go from into the little planet where they were there to get the thing for Rocket's, his memories and shit, and then even the guards, the suits they were wearing is kind of like, I don't know, it was ridiculous, but I can take some of that silly goofy shit. That's just fine. I'm not super upset about that. But then another thing that really kind of irked me in this movie, all right, and this is something, remember back in the day when Infinity War came out and they got to the end in Infinity War, and Peter Quill was asking, oh, where's Gamora? And he's like, oh, Gamora. And then fucking he goes and he punches Thanos because he was all pissed off because he killed Gamora, and everybody's like, oh, it's Peter Quill's fault. Well, one of the things, I probably need to make a separate video about this, but it was actually Gamora's fault. And once again, in this movie, they proved to me, I'm like, what are they thinking with the writing of this character? Because you did it once again. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck, Gamora? And the point in this, at one point in this movie when they're trying to they got Rocket and they're going to find the High Evolutionary, and she's like, oh, like no, what are we gonna do? Like we can't go there with him. Why are we gonna take Rocket to the High Evolutionary? This motherfucker is looking for him. Why are we gonna take him to him? And I'm like, yes. Why? Yeah, you're making sense here. Why would you take the fucking raccoon to the High Evolutionary? Because that's what he wants. That's, like, why would you do that? She's right. But then, like 5 minutes later, she makes another knuckleheaded call. It's like, okay, well, let's go right ahead and go do it. Like, dude, what are you doing? But the same thing. It was the same thing. Like, how does she have sense here where she's like, why would we take this fucking raccoon to the High Evolutionary? Why didn't you think that? Why didn't you think that knowing exactly what you knew in Infinity War? I'm watching Infinity War, and she's like, oh, it's like, Peter, you gotta do me a favor. If Thanos gets a hold of me, you gotta kill me. Well, like, okay, so you know that he needs the Infinity Stone. You know that you know where the fucking Infinity Stone is at, but you're gonna go to Thanos? Why the fuck would you do that? Okay, what you do is you tell the rest of the team, go to Thanos, I'm going clear the other fucking direction. It was all Gamora's fault. It was all Gamora's fault. Yeah. It is what it is. There was a nice, satisfying wrap-up to these characters, sort of, in this chapter, I guess, with these different characters, everyone kind of going their separate directions. Several times in the movie, we heard a lot of rumors leading into this that supposedly some of the Guardians are going to die and stuff like that. None of them end up dying, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with that. But, I don't know. There's just some interesting choices. But overall, I thought the movie was pretty good. I'll probably go see it again. It's not one of those ones that I'm excited and I want to go see it 3 or 4 times. I thought the movie was pretty good. I can't really say that it's like a step in the right direction for Marvel Studios, but it's definitely a step forward. It's definitely an improvement from what they have done over the past few years. And that was something I kind of expected out of this film. While not being a big James Gunn fan, I did think that he would deliver a movie that would be something that I would leave the theater and not regret seeing at the movie theater. And it wasn't. It wasn't. I thought it was pretty good. Though, as I said, most of the time I was sitting there just like, not amused by any of the stupid humor. And which I expected with James Gunn, and just kind of feeling like the movie was just the musical soundtrack was very overbearing for the film overall. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. We'll get here into back into the live chats, see what everybody's saying, and let's see where we at here. Random Brass says, spoil away! Tim's like says, tickets to the gun show? Yeah! Yeah! I am True Skills, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. Hey, I've seen you playing that back on the Avengers game. I haven't played the Avengers game in a while. I need to get back on that myself. But thank you so much for being here. I am True Skills. I hope you're doing well. Tim's Talk says, I like this movie, but it was too dour in tone. The third best, but a nice finish and good payouts overall. See, and I think this one was better than Volume 2. I think it was better than Volume 2 was. I didn't really like Volume 2 that much. I'll be honest with you, like, Volume 1 isn't exactly my favorite either. But it's definitely better than Volume 2. And I was kind of thinking about that too, like, Volume 1 or Volume 3, which is better? Like, I really don't know. Because, like, for the most part, it's hard to beat an origin film, right? It's hard to beat, like that first one, But this one right here, I thought was right up there. Definitely above the second, Volume 2. But I thought it was, I would say, closely matched with the first one. But yeah, soundtrack was the weakest. Yeah, and like I like a lot of the songs that were on there, but the way they just kept coming in and kind of, like I said, it was just overbearing. It was just overbearing overall throughout the whole movie. The action was shot well, great acting. Emotional points were good with the pet people. Yeah, and I was gonna say there were some good emotional points. I just feel like there was so many points where they undercut a lot of that, where they undercut a lot of those emotional moments. And it's like, and not always with humor, but maybe they're cutting to another scene in which they're blasting music and whatnot. Like, but I thought it was pretty good, and I think some of those emotional moments is kind of what made me like and think that this one is more up there with the first volume 1. Is more up there with volume 1 because they did do a lot of that. And the action, now I'll say the action wasn't the best, but I will say it was pretty good. That hallway scene, basically the hallway scene when they're on the ship, like that, like it was a little too drawn out. It was a little too long. Like you didn't have like, okay, like how many times are you gonna see him put one of the little shockers on a guy's butt and all this? Like how many times you gotta show that? Like I don't know. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. Just that one hallway scene was a little, it was a little long. But I also get why they did it too, because this is really pretty much like the Guardians' last outing. Oh, and I forgot to mention, one of the other things I actually did like about the movie is like the body horror shit, man. That shit was great. Like fucking when Rocket went and clawed that motherfucker's face up, and then later at the end of the movie when they rip off his mask, I remember Kendall from Normies to Nerds was talking about, is there a robot face under there? And man, much to my surprise, man, there wasn't. I was like, when I seen his all fucked up face, I was like, yeah, man, like that's what I wanted to see right there. If they gave us more of that, fuck yeah, I'm all in for that shit. Like that shit was great. I love body horror, and that was phenomenal. I loved it. I would have probably loved this movie a lot more if they did that to more. But like, if they would have showed like everybody all fucked up, and then all of a sudden they get their little animal faces, and like if they would have showed more of that, I'd have been like fucking yeah. Yeah, they were trying to keep it kiddie. Yeah, somewhat. I would say. Some of the jokes landed, but the other half didn't. Yeah, and like none of them really landed for me, but I know, like I said, I know part of that is I'm just not into James Gunn's humor, and what he puts in like his movies and stuff. Simple Sparrow, thank you so much for being here, Max. I hope you're doing well. Says, "Sut nerd." Let's see. Tim says, it was like they put a big sweatshirt on her and even bigger pants. Yeah, it was like terrible. I'm like, come on, man. Like Karen Gillan's way more attractive than that. Like, and like. Yeah. It was just bad. I don't even know what that was all about. But it's okay to make Adam Warlock shirtless or show his arms or body. Yeah, right. Like, and that's why I say like maybe it was a request from her. She's like, oh, I don't want nothing. It's all like form fitting, being sexy or anything like Scarlett Johansson did in the Black Widow movie. Like. Where you could tell that you couldn't tell that she even had, you couldn't even really tell that, that she had chesticles. Yeah. Why is Gamora? Who is Gamora? Right? Aggressively relaxing. Thank you so much for being here. I hope all's going well with you. He says, what's up? This new Broken Lizard movie is hilarious. Which one? There's a new I'll tell you, I honestly doubt that because the Broken Lizard hasn't done any funny movies. They haven't done, like, every single one of their movies they do is like, it's like this close to being funny. It's like every single time they drop the ball. Like what was it? Beer Fest. I was saying like, this movie's building into something. It's building into what might be a decent movie. And then they drop the ball, It's like watching a Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone movie. Like, fucking gag me. Put me out of my misery. Right? Because Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone are fucking terrible. Don't ever watch a Melissa McCarthy, Ben Falcone movie. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And it's the same way. It's because what they do is they get serious moments and it's undercut by fucking stupid humor. Like you almost had it and then you just, I don't know what you're doing. But if you enjoyed it, that's good. That's good, Aglax. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Random Brad's laughing. Post-credit scene, though, makes no stakes. Is Chris returning? Yeah, that was the thing. I think that post-credit, I mean, Obviously, with the the legendary Star-Lord thing, they're gonna do something with him. But if he's basically, I guess he wouldn't be stuck on Earth. But if he's on Earth, like he don't have any superpowers or anything. So I would guess at this point he's probably going to be a ground level hero. Probably, I don't know, with the Avengers, maybe the West Coast Avengers. I would guess that he's probably going to be something a little more like that. Coming up in whatever he's doing next. I thought I heard somebody say there's supposed to be one of those special presentations or even one of the Disney Plus shows, but who really knows? But obviously we're going to see him again. I mean, they said so. But it does kind of make me wonder. Obviously, we've got the new team that they kind of set up. You've got Drax and Nebula doing their thing. Gamora out there doing her thing. Everyone kind of went their separate ways. And yeah, I think I'll be kind of sad to see Zoe Saldana go because, like I said, I like Zoe Saldana and I think she's great. But yeah, I would imagine Chris is going to come back. I would imagine he is. Miranda Brad says, so I'll save my coin and put it towards some more metal. I mean, that's really up to you. I mean, like I said, I thought the movie was good. I didn't think it was terrible. I mean, unless you're looking for sexy Karen Gillan, yeah, save your money. If you want sexy Karen Gillan, save your money. If you if you want to see her looking sexy. But if you want to see Gamora looking sexy, I mean, she still look good. Matter of fact, I actually liked her outfit in this movie. Like the one thing that, and why they had to do that, they had to do it to the sexy one too. Do the whole bathroom humor thing with her. I was just like, it's James Gunn, but did you really have to do that? All right. At least we didn't get a whole lot. Surprised we didn't. True Skill says, I really enjoyed the movie. I like the dark tone. Yeah, me too. Like I said, I liked the movie and the dark tone of it. Like kind of like the dark tone they had. I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, for me, a lot of it just the humor didn't hit, and just the musical soundtrack just being so overbearing. Like, turn the volume down a little bit. You can turn the volume down a little bit. Yeah. Who's the villain in the third one? Is the High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary. Yeah. How are you doing, Eric the Guapo? I hope you're doing well. Tim Stock says, dude, that was savage at the end. It looked like Red Skull. Yeah, I know it did. It was great, man. I love that. Like, I was like, dude, we needed more of that. If they would have had more of that in the movie, I'd have loved it, and my kids would have probably had nightmares. Well, he was half celestial because of his dad, which they ignored this film. And where did his flying boots? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, where does boots go? Wait, you know what scene I'm talking about? Yeah, I was thinking that, like, where's his fucking boots at? Where's his little helmet thing at? There's no issue before. There's no issue before. And yeah, you know what? I guess that was one of those moments that kind of got a little chuckle out of me when they did with Warlock, and yeah, like that one, I was like, okay, like that was kind of funny. They did get me there. Random Breath says, it has to be a damn fine movie to get me into the cinemas these days. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was good. I think definitely worth seeing on the big screen. But if you're at where you're at with the MCU and stuff, yeah, just save it. I'm sure you got a nice TV at home that you can watch it on when it comes out on streaming or DVD. Yeah. And me, I like to buy shit on DVD, so I had the physical copy. So then, like, I just give my money, like, when it comes down to it, like, one time instead of giving them repeated viewings on their little streaming service and shit like that. Just buy the movie. Yeah, just buy the physical copy. They get your money one time. Not all this like, oh, look, this movie's been viewed by so many people this many times, blah, blah, blah. Like, yep, nope. As far as you know, I viewed it one time by buying it that one time. Tim Stark says, the power scaling could be awesome for him based on the last film. What do you mean? Oh, you mean for what? For Peter Quill? Yeah. Yeah, the helmet. Yeah, the helmet, the boots, like, yeah. Especially when they upgraded Nebula's arm. Like what, like, You upgraded Nebula's arm, but you took away like his boots and his little helmet. I don't get it. I didn't like Adam Warlock. They made him a moron. Well, I think the thing is, like, I get what they're doing because, like, basically, he's like Vision. Like, he was born yesterday. Like, I get it. He's still in his infancy and all of that stuff. But I understand that. But at the same time, you didn't hear Vision walking around calling fucking Tony Stark daddy. You know what I mean? Oops. Yeah. Anyway, that's, yeah. I still love this film. He says that. Yeah. Like, I thought it was good though. I thought it was good. Like I said, I wasn't disappointed when I left. I wasn't leaving the theater going, man, maybe I should have just waited for it to come out on DVD. Yeah, because I felt that way. Like, not quite about Ant-Man, because I like the Ant-Man. It was just Quantumania wasn't that good of a film. But like Wakanda Forever, I didn't watch that shit at the theater. Love and Thunder was one of the few movies of all these movies that I've seen one time at the theater. I kind of regret seeing that one, and yeah. The Eternals I only watched once at the theater too, and I should have seen that multiple times at the theater because Eternals is one of my favorites of this last phase of films. Yeah, saying I'll buy the physical if I like. Yeah, exactly. You can enjoy it at home. Nebula was dope, but a little OP. But I dug her arc and caring. Yeah, I mean what they did with her, like where she kind of got the understanding, the compassion, if you will. Yeah, I thought it was cool. And that's something they've slowly built her up to also throughout the movies. The whole thing of this film was to me was rebirth and redemption. Yeah, definitely. And finding your new way or family essentially. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't think it was. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, it was definitely had more things I liked in it than say the other two films. Especially Volume 2. Volume 2, I just cannot like based on the fact that they tried to, redeem the world's, the galaxy's most notorious child trafficker for doing one good deed. Am I supposed to think that's a good thing? Like you got Yondu who went and was literally a child trafficker, went and abducted a bunch of children, and you try to redeem him for one good thing. I just can't. I can't get into that. That's just not for me. It makes no sense to me. But it's James Gunn though. I'm sure he thinks child trafficking is perfectly fine, amongst other things. Yeah. I'll never be into the child trafficking movie. I just can't do it. Obi-Juan the homie, what is up, man? I hope all's going well. He says, my man just got back from watching Guardians of the Galaxy and I enjoyed it. Surprised nobody died, to be honest, and didn't think we were gonna get Phyla-Vell. Yeah, I don't really know much about Phyla-Vell, but yeah, that was interesting to see where they're going with that. And then yeah, and how many times did they set up? How many times did you think one of those characters was gonna die? How many times? You thought Nebula was gonna eat it. At the very end when she does her arm thing, you thought she was gonna die, dude. Don't lie. You did. You son of a bitch. We all did. They got me. And they got us a couple times with Drax too, right? They got us a couple times with Drax too. They got us a couple times. They got it. I was there's probably 2 or 3 times I was like, oh fucking, here's Drax going bye. He didn't. The Rocket Raccoon, that was obvious. I really didn't think Rocket was gonna die in this one at all. I was like, he's safe. He's completely safe. I didn't think Peter was gonna die. Yeah, but everyone else, the rest of them, I was like, okay. Well, and obviously, I didn't think Groot was gonna bite the dust either. But yeah, but definitely Drax and Nebula. There was several scenes with Drax, oh, this motherfucker's dying. He's dying, and he didn't. But yeah, Nebula. I thought she was gonna eat it too. Yeah. I'm glad they made a real villain. Not all villains are good. Yeah. I was gonna say, I actually like, kind of what they did with the High Evolutionary as far as, basically like his story. I did like that. Like, dude was like fucking straight up villain, dude. Like, and the thing is, like, he wasn't even too sinister. He's just like a piece of shit. Like, he was just like a piece of shit. And I'm like, I'm glad they left it like that. They didn't leave it like where it's like, oh, like you feel bad for him. Like, oh, you understand where he's coming from. You know, like you see him, you're like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Yeah. I did like that. I did like that for sure. I thought they were also going to kill Peter also. Yeah. But Bautista said he ain't coming back. Yeah, I don't imagine that he would. I mean, if he did, it'd probably just be bit parts. Probably just bit parts. Yeah. But and at one point, yeah, I thought Peter was gonna go too, but I kind of figured they wouldn't. I kind of didn't figure they would with him. I just kind of felt like they weren't going to, even though at the end, I was surprised. I was like, holy shit! I was like, oh shit! Like, really? Fucking really? And you know, yeah. You think they should have killed off Drax? I think they could have. Should they have? Maybe. But I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I kind of feel like, you know, they probably could have done in Nebula too. At this point, they probably could have. And that's the thing is, like, Gamora. Could they have killed Gamora? And would it have mattered? I mean, we already seen her die once, you know. So I mean, seeing it again, it probably wouldn't have been too emotional. It would have just been like, oh, well, she died again. Yeah, but altogether, I thought the movie itself was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. I may go see it again, probably one other time before it leaves the theater. I'll probably go see it again. Yeah, but anyway, guys, I've been going for just the Gamora from the Gamora that came back from, you know, in Endgame. That Gamora, she was still around. But yeah. Yep, she's in it. The multiverse has taken away stakes. Well, I don't know that it really has. Like, it depends on when and how they're going to use it. Because I think the thing is, like, they know it's such, like, it's going to be a trope and it's going to be something that everybody's kind of expecting. Like, oh, multiverse, we just, you know, somebody dies, we're just getting older. I think it's a card that they're not going to play very much. Very much up until probably like Secret Wars. I don't think it's something that they're going to use very much because I just don't feel like it is when they easily could. I mean, they easily could, but I think they're going to keep it reserved for certain things as opposed to just like oh, so and so died, those get an old multiversal version, because yeah, I mean, it does. Because it would do that. It would do exactly that, is take the stakes away. Although, as we've seen in this particular instance where we had this version of Gamora, she wasn't the same. You know what I mean? She's like, fuck this guy. Like, what do I want to? Why would I like this fucking loser? You know, like, and I liked that. I like the fact that she's a different version of her, but she don't remember any of that shit. She's like, and she's pretty much telling him like, fuck off, dude. Like, fuck off. I liked that. You know. Because if they do that, more multiversal shit, like they pull, you know, like in movies or something like that, character dies, they have another one. Like, I want more of that. Where, like, you know, like, oh, this is a good Tony Stark, and he's fucking sinister. You know what I mean? Like, that would be great. That'd be great if they did that, where it completely flips the script. That would be kind of cool. But I kind of feel like the multiverse thing would be almost like the scroll thing too. Like, oh, everyone scrolls, you know, like it's kind of the same thing, really, you know. The time travel. Yep. RDJ is coming back. Yeah. He'll be. Yeah, RDJ will be back. He'll be back. I mean, probably not like. He won't be back like back. But yeah, he's definitely gonna make some appearances. Secret Wars, yeah. RDJ Evil, yeah, exactly. He could come back evil, and also seeing that Evil Strange would be cool too. That'll be cool. That'll be cool. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna end the stream here and go get some sleep for the night. Hopefully, wake up and get a nice bike ride in the morning and get my son's outfit finished for Renaissance Fair that we're gonna go on Sunday. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here. You guys have a very good night. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, share the stream out with your friends, tell them to come hang out. I'm going to be giving away some more comic books here very soon. Next month I'll be giving away this copy of Lady Death Necrotic Genesis. So to get entered into that, all you got to do is be a channel member. But I want to thank you all so much for being here today. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your night. Be safe. Have a safe weekend. Have a safe and fun weekend. And we'll see you in the next video. Later. Oh.